Hi all, as a software developer in day-to-day life, we have came across with the terminology called library and framework. So have you wondered what the main difference between the library and framework? So this video is for you. We'll be covering the what does means library and framework in with a simple real life examples. Then we'll follow up the standard definition of library and its real life use case as a development. Then we will cover what is framework and its use case in the software development process, and we will analyze those terms with a certain diagram. And lastly, we will understand what does control by our codes versus inversion of controls means. And lastly, we will differentiate between those in basic terminology. So let's get started. So before going ahead with the video, I request you please subscribe to the channel to get videos on Spring Boot, microservices, Java and software development topic. So if you see that we have an diagram with a house and some of people image. So I will analyze those things. So what this in the left part of this page, I have added some diagram where I will explain what does library actually means. So imagine you are building a house and you need specific tools to complete a certain task. So a library is like going to the hardware store and buying a tools. So for example, if you want to install a door and you buy a hammer or nails to perform that specific task, and here you decide when and how to use the hammer. So that basically means here the library is like those tools. So you can or you call them when you need them and control how they are used. So this is the main example of the library. And so you are in the control of the flow of your application. So but in the right side of this diagram, so it is an example of the framework. So now imagine you are building the same house, but you are hiring a construction company to build the house for you. The company has a standard methodology like blueprint or teams process says, and you will be choose some of the things like how do you want to paint your room, or how you want to paint your colors. So overall structure is dedicated by the company. So here the frameworks provide a certain type of structures, and you are you following their rules to get your job done. So here you follow its conventions, and it handle many things automatically for you, because yeah, there is no need to do your blueprint, teams, processes and other set of things. Now let's go ahead to understand what this library standard definition means and the framework standard definition means. So a library provides a set of helper functions or object or module which your application code calls for specific functionality. For example, libraries may focuses on certain scope like string related functionality or input output related functionality. So they have the certain API which tend to be smaller and require a fewer dependency. It is like maybe that collection of class definition. So why we need that? Because there is a lot of specific tasks which is being repeatedly used in our application. So for the code reuse and use of the code which the developer has already been written, maybe the other developer have already been written and you want to use this code. So for that reason you are using library, maybe the input output library, the string util library. So maybe one of the example called find the last index of a certain character. So only here we need the access of the object, and rest thing it can called by the object. And on the other hand, the frameworks has a defined open and unimplemented functions or the object which the user writes to create and certain applications. So because a framework is itself an application, it is wider scope and includes almost everything necessary to make a like a certain application as per our need. So mainly in this channel we are using the spring as a framework. So they have has certain blueprint or certain structures, and we are creating on top of that. Now let's analyze those terms with a certain diagram. So imagine you are writing some kind of code, and you are using string utils library. So on there, you you are calling the library. So when you are calling the library means you call a method from a library, and here uh, you are in control. But in case of framework, so frameworks may have certain libraries, and but the framework, you are not directly calling the framework is framework call you. So in this, the control is inverted because the framework is calling your code. Now let's understand the key difference between them. So framework, it comprises of a lot of APIs, compiler, and support programs, libraries, etc. And whereas libraries is a collection of helper module, classes, object, as I already mentioned. In framework, it is difficult to replace the framework because the lot of implemented things are present and the skeleton, so it is very difficult to replace, but there is a lot of replacement are there for the certain type of frameworks. In library, it is easily to replace another library. For example, you have an string library which is used to count the total number of like for example a character a present in a string. So you can write your own classes and method to replace that library. For a framework, development requires a lot of code, that decrease the performance and increase the load time, and also the skilled developer also required to make a framework. But in case of library, requires a less code, and there is a better performance and the fast load time. And it also it includes framework smoothly into an existing project is impossible, because if you are using a certain type of UI framework, for example Angular, so it is your application is using that, and you want to instead of Angular you want to use some other front end libraries, sorry, front end framework, which is very difficult to replace that library. But in case of library, can be easily integrated into the existing project to add certain specific functionality. Here we have an example like jQuery, React, Angular, Spring, Node.js for the framework. So please subscribe to the channel, and if you have any question you can ask on the comment section. So thank you for watching the video, and yeah, please watch the Spring Core playlist. I will put on the description section. Thank you.